What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. I'm BRAVEX Thunderclap, and today we're going to be covering the ultimate Titan melee build. With the release of Arc 3.0, Bungie gave Titans a new melee ability. We now have the Thunderclap. So we're going to be taking Thunderclap, aka Falcon Punch, and amplifying it in PVE. Also, I'll be linking the dim loadout down below in the description if you're curious. So if you've been enjoying all the PVE builds, then do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to turn on notifications. But with that, let's punch our way into today's build. Today, we're going to be on the Striker subclass, and starting off, we're going to want to have the new dodge ability, since that is a faster cooldown. And the reason for that is just in case we need a fully charged melee, we can easily use our thruster and not have to wait for our shield to pop up. And one of the most obvious choices, Thunderclap. We're going to be clapping all the PVE enemies with this. Now there's two ways to utilize Thunderclap. You can instantly press it and throw a Thunderclap, or you can hold it down for a more powerful Thunderclap. One of the easiest ways you can tell which one you should be using is depending on the enemy you're going up against. If it's a trash tier enemy, you don't have to hold it. But if it's a more tankier enemy, try holding it just a little bit longer for a more powerful melee attack. Next, for aspects, we want to use the aspect Knockout. Critically wounding a target or breaking their shield infuses your melee attacks with arc energy and increases your melee range and damage for a short time. But the second part is what we're looking at. Defeating targets with melee attacks starts health regeneration and makes you amplified. Now getting into fragments, we're going to want to run Spark of Frequency. Melee hits greatly increase your reload speed for a short duration. Yes guys, we're going to be meleeing everything, so we're going to have that reload speed extremely quick. Next, we're going to be utilizing Spark of Discharge. Arc weapon final blows have a chance to create an ionic trace. This is important just in case you need a melee charge. Next over, Spark of Focus. After sprinting around for a short time, your class ability regeneration is increased, meaning when we're running around the map with Spark of Focus active, our class ability is going to recharge quickly. Lastly, Spark of Recharge. While critically wounded, your melee and grenade energy regenerates more quickly. Yes guys, even though we're going to get health back on our melee kills with Knockout and our exotic, just in case we are in the red, this is going to boost our charge rate for our melee and grenade energy. Now before you go out there and try to thunderclap every enemy, let's talk about our exotic. An Insurmountable Skullfort. That's the exotic of choice today, and it comes with the exotic perk Transfusion Matrix. Kills with arc melee abilities trigger health regeneration and restore melee energy. Guys, that right there is huge. Triggers health regeneration and restores melee energy. Yes guys, this exotic isn't going to give us a full melee charge, especially if we're using Thunderclap, since it only restores melee energy, doesn't give you a full melee charge. But this isn't the only piece of the puzzle for this build. Well, I hope you guys are ready for some synergy, because we're going to get into it. Number one mod we want, Outreach. Reduces melee cooldown when you're using your class ability. Now if you remember what we went with, we decided to go with Thruster since it is a faster cooldown, and we also went with Spark of Focus, which is going to give us a faster cooldown on our dodge ability. Essentially, if we need a melee, all we have to do is use our thruster, run around the map, use our thruster again, and it will charge our melee ability. Keep in mind that if you successfully use this build, you'll never have to do this because you'll always get a fully charged melee. Now the next mod we want is Arc Siphon. Rapid arc final blows create an orb of power. Yes guys, this is going to give us our super energy much quicker, but if we pair this with Invigoration, this reduces melee cooldown each time you pick up an orb of power. Now to get the most out of Arc Siphon, you want to utilize an arc weapon. And one of the best weapons I used was the Risk Runner. By utilizing the Risk Runner, I was able to generate a lot of orbs because I activated Arc Siphon. So not only are you getting orbs of power when you get arc weapon final blows, but you're gonna be getting a faster cooldown on your melee ability. There's a lot of synergy going on there. But here's where we add even more synergy. We're gonna want to use the mod Focusing Strike. Grants class ability energy when you cause damage with your melee attack. Since this build revolves around melee attacks, Focusing Strike is going to be activated a lot. So just in case you do need a melee charge, it's okay because if you got melee kills, you'll activate Focusing Strike. And by activating Focusing Strike, you're going to get a faster cooldown on your thruster ability, thus allowing you to activate the mod Outreach, giving you a faster cooldown on your melee ability. Guys, it's a lot of synergy going on there. But here's where we add some of the most deadliest mods in PvE, Melee Wellmaker. And the reason we're using Melee Wellmaker is because every time we get a powered melee final blow on an enemy, this will create an elemental well for us. But okay, we got elemental wells now. What are we gonna add? Well, we're gonna add 3 different things. Number 1, we're gonna add Well of Ions. By picking up that elemental well, that's gonna give us a damage increase to our melee ability. Now we're gonna stack that with the mod Well of Striking. By picking up that elemental well, it's gonna give us melee energy. And lastly, we're gonna go with the elemental well mod, Elemental Charge. You become charged with light ×2 when you pick up an elemental well. Now, if you remember, the Insurmountable Skullfort won't give us a full melee charge. But if we pair that with the mod Heavy Handed, when you're charged with light, you regain half your melee energy when you used a charged melee ability, and this only consumes 1 stack of Charge of Light. Now, here's how we piece it all together. If we see an enemy, we just have to melee them. If it is a low tier enemy, it's gonna kill them immediately, thus activating the exotic perk Transfusion Matrix. When you get that melee kill, it's going to give you a health increase and a little bit of melee energy. Now, if you pick up that elemental well, it's going to give you a little bit of melee energy. And this is going to give you a full melee charge if Transfusion Matrix activated properly. But keep in mind that when you picked up that elemental well, you also picked up Elemental Charge, giving you 2 stacks of Charge with Light. Now that you're charged with light, when you Thunderclap enemies, Transfusion Matrix will kick in, but also Heavy Handed, thus giving you a full melee charge every single time. Now, one of the most common misconceptions about Heavy Handed is that you have to kill that enemy. You don't. If you are charged with light and you utilize a powerful melee attack, this will still give you half a melee charge, so you don't have to kill any enemies with it. Now, a few things to keep in mind. You can continuously charge this melee ability by killing trash tier mobs. Now you might be wondering,
well, Brave, what about the stronger guys? Can we kill them?
You won't be able to kill them with 1 melee hit. There are a few workarounds for this. If you do a little bit of damage first and then Thunderclap that enemy, there is a high chance you might kill them. But here's the good part. If you don't kill them, Heavy Handed will kick in, thus giving you at least half your melee charge. And considering all our other mods, you'll get that melee back very quickly. Now, one of the cool things I noticed is that you might be going up against a tanky enemy, but don't worry. If you want to use your melee ability, you can. There's a high chance that they're surrounded by trash tier mobs, and if you kill one of those trash tier mobs, this will fully charge your melee attack. And this is going to ultimately allow you to Thunderclap over and over and over against these tanky enemies. But okay, I want to leave you with one piece of advice. If you do this properly, you're always going to get a melee ability back. Now you might be wondering,
okay, Brave, but then why did we spec everything to get our melee charge back, since it always gives us a melee?
That is a good question. And the reason we spec'd everything for our melee ability is just in case our teammates kill those enemies right before you Thunderclap them, you can easily charge your melee ability by picking up orbs or elemental wells. And there you have it, guys. If you're looking for a fun build for PvE, the Thunderclap ultimate build is something that I had a blast using. If you enjoyed today's video, then do me a huge favor and drop a like. It lets me know to make more videos like this. But on that note, if you're looking for a hunter build video, that video that just popped up on screen is a hunter melee build. It made PvE easy mode. Now that video on the right is going to be a playlist of every Arc 3.0 build for PvE. So if you're looking for that, click that video. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate everyone who watches my videos. You guys have a good one, and I will see you in the next video.